This is the story of how oratory shaped empires, the techniques that made great speakers immortal, and the timeless lessons we can still learn from them. Throughout history, words have built nations and destroyed them. Speeches have inspired revolutions, comforted nations in despair, and ignited wars that changed the world. Public speaking isn't just a form of communication. It's the art of influence, the bridge between thought and action, between vision and movement. From the Athenian assembly to the Roman Senate, from medieval pulpits to modern parliaments, the human voice has shaped the destiny of civilizations. The roots of public speaking lie deep in ancient Greece, specifically Athens in the 5th century BCE, the cradle of democracy. In a society where decisions were made through debate rather than decree, speech became power. The art of rhetoric was born. Masters like Pericles, Demosthenes, and Socrates elevated persuasion into a science. They taught that oratory was not about loudness, but about ethos, pathos, and logos, the credibility of the speaker, the emotion that moves the heart, and the logic that convinces the mind. In 431 BCE, during the first year of the Peloponnesian War, Pericles delivered one of the most famous speeches in history, the Funeral Oration. Standing before the citizens of Athens, he praised their democratic ideals, their courage, and their unity. "Our constitution does not copy the laws of neighboring states," he declared. "We are rather a pattern to others than imitators ourselves." His words transformed grief into pride and tragedy into purpose. It was a declaration of identity. Through his voice, Athens defined itself, and its people believed in it. Pericles understood a truth that still holds today. People follow those who can give meaning to their struggle. A few centuries later, in the heart of Rome, the art of oratory reached new heights and new dangers. In the Roman Republic, speaking well was not just a virtue, it was a weapon. The Senate and Forum were arenas where reputations were made or destroyed by the power of the tongue. Here rose Marcus Tullius Cicero, perhaps the most skilled orator in Roman history. In 63 BCE, Cicero uncovered a conspiracy led by a man named Catiline who planned to overthrow the Republic. In his legendary Orations against Catiline, Cicero exposed the plot before the Senate. "How long, Catiline, will you abuse our patience? How long will that madness of yours mock us?" These words froze the chamber. They destroyed Catiline's credibility and rallied the Senate against him. With words alone, Cicero defended the Republic for a time. Years later, he would deliver another set of speeches, the Philippici, denouncing Mark Antony as a threat to Roman freedom. This time, his eloquence cost him his life. Antony, enraged, ordered Cicero's execution. His severed hands and tongue were nailed to the rostra, the very platform from which he had spoken. The message was clear. Speech could rule an empire or end a man. Before Cicero's time, another voice had shaken the moral foundations of Greece, Socrates. In 399 BCE, Socrates stood before an Athenian court, charged with impiety and corrupting the youth. His defense, recorded by his student Plato in the Apology, remains one of the most profound moments in the history of speech. "I am not wise," he said. "I only know that I know nothing." Socrates didn't plead for mercy or flatter the jury. Instead, he turned his trial into a lesson on integrity, reason, and the pursuit of truth. His calm defiance and his faith in dialogue over dogma turned his death into a moral victory. He proved that the spoken word could outlive the sword, that ideas, once voiced, could never be silenced. In 44 BCE, after the assassination of Julius Caesar, Rome stood on the brink of chaos. In the Forum, the conspirators justified the murder as an act to save the Republic. Then came Mark Antony, Caesar's loyal friend. His funeral oration, immortalized by Shakespeare, is among the most powerful demonstrations of rhetorical mastery ever recorded. "Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears," he began. "I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. Antony's speech was a masterpiece of manipulation. He started by appearing calm, then gradually turned the crowd's sorrow into outrage. By the end, the mob that had cheered Caesar's killers now demanded their blood. It was a deadly lesson. The same words that inspire democracy can ignite anarchy. Antony's oration marked the death of the Republic and the birth of Imperial Rome. Let's now move forward 7 centuries, to Kufa, Iraq, in 693 CE. The Eastern Islamic region, stretching from Transoxiana and India to Iraq, was caught in a decade of chaos and civil war. Civil wars had torn apart the unity established under the early caliphs. Into this chaos rode a young man of 31, Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi. As the appointed governor of Iraq and the eastern part of the Islamic world, Al-Hajjaj entered Kufa to face an audience filled with defiant soldiers and rebellious citizens. He stepped up to the pulpit, and you could just feel the energy in the air. With a voice that seemed to echo through time, he kicked off his speech, a powerful one that's been shaking up Arabic literature for ages. "Oh, people of Iraq, people of mutiny and hypocrisy, I see ripe heads, and it is time for the harvest, and I am the harvester." Can you imagine the crowd hanging on every word? The crowd fell silent. Al-Hajjaj's voice combined poetic eloquence with cold authority. He condemned disobedience and promised justice and strength. Within minutes, he transformed fear into submission. Within weeks, he restored order. His speech proved that in a world of swords and armies, a single voice could still command an empire. Fast forward to the 20th century, the age of radio and global communication. Here, oratory found new power. In 1940, as Britain faced the darkness of Nazi aggression, Winston Churchill stood before Parliament and spoke words that fortified an entire nation. "We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall never surrender." Churchill's speeches transformed despair into defiance. His mastery of rhythm and repetition gave people hope when hope was nearly gone. He did what all great orators do. He turned language into courage. He was not alone. Franklin D. Roosevelt with his calm fireside chats, Martin Luther King Jr. with his dream of justice, John F. Kennedy with his call to action, Nelson Mandela whose speeches healed a divided nation. Each of them understood that the true measure of leadership is persuasion. But there is a darker side to eloquence. The same force that builds nations can destroy them. Throughout history, demagogues have twisted rhetoric into propaganda. They learned that fear can move people faster than reason. As Plato warned, rhetoric without virtue becomes deception. The lesson is clear. The speaker's character is as important as their words. Today, we live in an age of microphones, cameras, and instant broadcasting. Public speaking has evolved, but its essence remains unchanged. Whether it's a politician addressing a nation, a teacher guiding students, or a creator speaking to millions online, the same ancient principles apply: clarity, honesty, rhythm, and purpose. From the agoras of Athens to the digital forums of today, the voice continues to shape ideas, inspire change, and build communities. From Pericles to Cicero, from Socrates to Al-Hajjaj, from Churchill to King, one truth endures: empires may crumble, but words remain. The power of public speaking lies not in the echo of applause, but in the transformation it creates, within minds, within societies, and within history itself. So the next time you hear a speech that moves you, remember, you are witnessing the oldest magic known to humanity. Because when spoken with purpose, a single voice can change the course of the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. If you enjoyed this Odyssey of the Mind, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode.